Oh, shoot. What is going on, fellas? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. Yeah, hope you guys all do enjoy because these ones always do scare me, okay? That being bringing up a talking point, simply bringing up a question for all of you Call of Duty and diehard fans out there. A great one, though, at that, brought to light in the recent podcast with Benson. I will link that episode down below. Very insightful and also very fun to watch, as one viewer in particular brought to light a question of maybe Gunless should not have been benched and instead it could have been FormaL. Was it the brand power, the personality behind obviously also being a top recognizable Call of Duty pro and a part of T2P with Scump? Was it that brand recognition or something beyond the stat line that actually saved FormaL and it could have been him and benched besides Gunless instead?
I think that if it wasn't for T2P and the relationship that Scump and FormaL have with each other, and obviously you wouldn't drop FormaL should have been dropped instead of Gunless. Going into past cards and the history that should have been made.
That's a bold ass statement to start a debate.
It's
That's not.
bro.
So
Just real quick.
Hold on, I will say there's an
not
argument
wrong.
for you there. There's an argument for you there because of the AR problem. There's an argument for you there. But like you just don't do that as the owner of that team. No.
You
For real.
definitely can't do that as the owner, as if you're running the Huntsmen.
What?
From a pure just gameplay perspective, if you just X's and O's and that's all there is to this, you're not wrong.
Yeah, no. I that's what I said. I said there's a huge argument there.
Like one of the best ARs in the world.
Because he's not a better AR than Alec, right? Like in this game, and he's not as good as Gunless with the alternative. So like, yes, like what you said, X's and O's. If you're just looking at the roster on paper, no followings, nothing like that, no chemistry, dynamic, nothing. Yeah,
Right.
you could have gotten rid of FormaL.
Right?
But there's way more that goes
Problem is,
involved.
yeah. Problem is,
Wait,
there's
yeah,
way
I get
too much.
that. So, cause
But
like,
way
you
more.
don't get rid of FormaL.
Personalities, the personalities, the
And
following.
you never get
I
rid
will
of
say that's a
FormaL.
great question though.
Team. That is a good question.
That's a great question because it's like a hot take, but at the same time, there's actual logic behind it. So I respect that. That's a good question.
And I'm bringing to light, I think, a great question and a great talking point, not only in Call of Duty, but across a lot of esports out there. We all know top figures, top names, top personalities in a variety of esports who have struggled or even plateaued at some point during their career. And I think a lot of us can admit, at least for a few events out there, FormaL has been one of those characters. Now, I will say, as to what Pac-Man, Nameless, and Ben all really attest to, is there is so much more than a stat line when it comes time for running an esports organization, and especially one that's headed by a former Optic man, yes, currently also operating former Optic men underneath him, that being the Huntsmen brand, which is already the most recognizable, the most popular brand in Call of Duty, and that is not even, there's no opposition to that. That's already been proven fact on Twitter alone when it comes time for notifications, impressions, viewership, and of course, it comes time for tournament numbers as well. This Huntsman roster is very recognizable and very widely liked, and that's why I don't really like talking about them too much in controversial areas because their fans, they go very hard. So let's present this simply as a question. Do you guys out there think that there is more than just a stat line when it comes time for keeping FormaL in and Gunless obviously benched as well on this roster? We already know the Prestinni move has also been made, and I think the obvious answer, yeah, has to be yes. There is so much more besides the stat line and recent performance that goes into operating an esports team. Let's take, for example, the Counter-Strike scene. I think they actually have a lot of examples of this. The MIBR roster made in Brazil have been, I would say, stagnant for quite some time, but their 4 or maybe even 3 mainly core members out there have been so tied to the organization and the Brazilian CSGO scene, they can really fall off just about as much as they want to, and they are so recognizable. As long as they show hints of what they are capable of, they will stay on that roster. By the way, that being Fallen, that being Fur, that being Taco. Cold Zera used to be a part of that core as well. So when it comes time for relating back to Call of Duty and we have time to pound, being Scump and FormaL, as long as they can show us hints of their greatness, and clearly this season Scump has already done that, reminded us time and time again why he is one of the all-time greats. FormaL has lagged off. I don't mean to offend you guys, but certainly by many eyes out there. But yes, there is so much more. There's the brand. There's the personality, which you might not think FormaL has it, but when that guy goes on a comedy spree, he certainly has one. There is team chemistry, and beyond that, I would say most importantly, beyond the stat line, there is the potential of a great player, and that is why you keep him in your roster. You never want to piss him off. You never want to break that chemistry by all of a sudden saying, hey, FormaL, I know you're an all-time great. We're going to maybe consider benching you instead of Gunless. You know, you just don't see teams doing that, and it's for obvious reason. Now, I will say eventually you got to reach a breaking point where all-time greats do have to see their retirement, their ending. I don't think FormaL's anywhere near that. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But yes, I think this, at the very least, guys, brings a great argument out there and a great debate of what could it possibly have been that stopped this Huntsmen roster from benching FormaL instead of Gunless. Well, I think there's a lot of variety of things out there that go into the calculation that clearly a guy like Hector, the Huntsmen, NRG as a whole are thinking about, and there's no way FormaL was even a consideration when it came time for FormaL or Gunless, and that's just how traditional sports work. That's how esports work. As it continues to all keep on breaking it down and bringing up these points to all of you guys. So I guess the question all goes to you. Could there have been a situation where FormaL was benched instead of Gunless? I just don't know, and I'm actually scared of talking about this topic. We'll see how this one goes if I ever bring it up again. Did T2P save FormaL? Let's find out some other day. Until next time, take care. Drink your water. Drink your coffee. I'll see you guys back here next time.